Welcome in. It's so nice of y'all to join us for Bragg About It. I'm Carleen Bragg.
And I'm Meghan Bragg.
And we're the Bragg sisters.
We are.
And we're here to brag. We should brag more.
Obviously, we need to brag all the time. And Carleen, you were telling me a little story this morning, and you have a good brag.
I did. I'm going to brag about that I didn't lose it on Greg.
And we love that. Greg is your boyfriend.
I couldn't find my keys. Greg is my boyfriend.
Yes.
He's like a tertiary character at this point.
Yes.
Everybody knows him.
Yep.
I looked up, down, everywhere for my keys. I put my keys in 2 places in my house. Couldn't find them.
Yeah.
Where were they? In his bag.
In his bag. Why were they there?
He didn't take the car. We didn't go anywhere. And here's the thing. I could have lost it. I should have lost it.
You should have lost
it. But I didn't lose it.
And that
is
a brag.
Sleeping.
Yes.
I kept my cool. And I'm like,
you were
hey,
like,
that's a win.
I
kept my composure.
Take a breath.
And I kept it moving.
Yeah.
Because silly boys make silly mistakes. You know what I mean? The men are menning.
The men are menning, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you.
We have a wonderful guest today who has so much to brag about. She's so creative.
Yes.
And wrote 3 books, Carleen.
3.
Can you imagine? Not 1,
No.
not 2, but 3.
No, I can barely read a book, never mind write one.
Literally, like what?
Barely write my name.
Christie Healy is with us today. Christy, thank you so much for being on Bragg About It.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah. Okay, Christy, let's get into you first of all. Where are you from? I know you live in the area now, but where are you from, and how did this all start for you?
I am born and raised North Carolina. I grew up in a little town called Yadkinville, North Carolina, and came down here for college and then moved around a little bit as I taught, and then ended up back in this area again once I got married and settled down.
Great. And you are a teacher?
I am a teacher, yes.
Okay. And
very fitting.
Tell us what you teach, where you teach.
Well, I started out teaching high school. I taught English and Latin and coached soccer. And then once I started having my kids, I switched over to teaching on the college level because it was a little bit easier, juggling childcare. And I teach English and rhetoric now.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, listen. Writing 1 book, I can't even imagine, but 3 books is insane. And your books are really cool because they are fantasy, but they also have a lot of roots to them, like Irish roots and all of that. Tell me, where did this concept come from?
Well, so first off, full disclosure, I'm a giant nerd. I always have been.
We love that.
English professor,
Love.
Latin teacher. I don't know if you picked up on that. But I've always loved, books and mythologies. I started off very classic with Greek and Roman mythology, but my grandfather his family was from County Cork, Ireland.
Wow.
So he used to talk about that a lot to me, and that kind of got me interested in Irish mythology. And I just went down that rabbit hole. It was really beautiful mythology and folklore, very rich culture, and I became a little bit obsessed with it.
Yes.
So my books were heavily inspired by Irish mythology and folklore.
Have you been?
I have not. No, not yet.
Is it a dream?
It is a dream.
Yes.
One day, once the kids are a little bit
Oh,
older.
exactly. I know.
I don't have to put 6 people on an international flight.
Right.
That's probably when that will happen.
Yeah,
So,
that is a lot to do. Okay, so I want to really talk about your process because, first of all, I'm sure thinking about even writing a book is scary. And what made you be like, I'm going to do this? And where did you get this idea of just like, I have to write this?
I've always been a writer. I've always dabbled in writing. It was never something that I wanted to put out there so much until, a few years ago, my husband was ironically bragging about me. We were out with my brother and some friends. My husband said, yeah, she just wrote another book, finished it. Wow. And my brother is the one who got on my case and said, why? Come on, you've always wanted to be an author. You should put yourself out there. You should try to do this. And he kind of got the ball rolling for me. That was the push I needed. I queried for a literary agent. I signed with her. She ended up selling the first book. And it kind of went from there. So.
That's amazing. Tell us a little bit about the theme of these books.
So they are all what we call romantic fantasies. They're a little bit more heavy on the fantasy and the magic systems with more of a romantic subplot. But they are all twisted fairy tale retellings mixed with Irish mythology and folklore. So it's kind of a combination, if you will, of fairy tales and mythology. They are all standalones, but set in an interconnected series.
Okay.
So they can be read separately or together. And each progressive book follows the descendants of the protagonist from the first book. So it's kind of 3 generations of women dealing with their stories and complications.
I love that.
How much of you is in the book?
Yeah.
A good bit. I wouldn't say that's a self-insert, but obviously, my experiences with, different aspects of life have definitely been channeled into these characters. Probably the most obvious is in the second one. The second book follows a mother who has to go and go down to the underworld to bargain to save her daughter's life with the Lord of Death. And it was inspired a lot by my oldest daughter has type 1 diabetes. So I remember when she was really little, the helplessness of that. And so that was probably my most obvious self-insert is that concept. But there's a little bit of me in all of them, I think.
Yeah. Tell me about your writing process, because all of our writing processes are different. Even for us as journalists, we have to write these stories.
Right.
What's yours like? Does it take you a while? Are you a procrastinator? Like
writing on napkins?
Exactly.
Yeah, I do a lot on my phone. I have a Bluetooth keyboard like in my car. I have one in my purse, so when I have a few minutes, if it strikes me, I pop it out and I'll write some. I do a lot of writing in car lines and things like that. But really, I'm a little bit opposite, I feel like, what a lot of my writer friends are. So I'm in awe of a lot of my author friends. They're so regimented with, their outlining and their planning.
Yes.
And I'm what we call a pantser. I just dive in and go where the wind takes me.
Wow.
So I'm a very fast drafter. So usually I can get to a completed draft pretty quickly. But my Achilles heel is that they're a mess because I went into it with absolutely no plan and vibes only. So trying to edit and revise.
That's how we go into this show.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm among my people, I guess.
Yeah.
So editing and revising is always a nightmare. But
actually doing it is probably not, because you're like,
I have a blast drafting.
Yes.
And that's why I said I'm a little bit opposite, because I know a lot of my friends complain about the drafting process, and I'm like, that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
And then I get to the end, and I was like, well, this is why it's my favorite part.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's just a chaotic experience. But that's kind of my forte, is just diving in head first with no plan.
As a girl who loves to wing it, as two girls who like to wing it,
wingers.
Do you go in right? Like, do you do beginning, middle, end? Do you do it randomly?
I'm chaos. I jump around. Usually I start at the beginning. Like, I'll have an idea for an opening scene. But once I get the first, sometimes 3 chapters, I always have to go and write the end, and not just the final chapter, but just the last few. 10,000 words. My books are usually pretty character centric, so for me it's important to kind of understand the character arc, is where they start and where they're going to finish, so that I can connect those pieces, if that makes sense. So sometimes I'll have to go back and tweak the original ending that I wrote, but for the most part it stays the same.
That's amazing. And I do find that right now, fantasy is huge.
It
is an in thing.
My in-person events usually do really well. I have very pretty colors. So when it gets to the covers, when it gets to the bragg-about portion, I'll probably have to show you my covers, because they're really beautiful. So they always kind of catch people's eye.
I was going to say how I met you was at one of those events, and my sister-in-law actually was like, oh, these authors are so cool. I'm like, I know. And she's like, what, they should be on your show. I'm like, absolutely. And I don't know. I because of never judge a book by its cover, but I literally went beeline to you, and yours were sold out. You were sold out. So
they did.
Which is
my last
wonderful.
Copy of this one. They haven't came in yet.
Yes, that's amazing.
It's a little dog-eared.
Yes, but that's amazing. And so very, very cool. And the fact that you are from Charlotte is even cooler. You don't meet a lot of authors. I feel like it's a very interesting. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break right here, but keep it right here on Bragg About It. We're going to talk way more with Christie Healy when we come back.
Welcome back to Bragg About It. We are here with the author, Christie Healy.
Yes.
So we were talking a little bit in the last block about motherhood being obviously kind of a part of this process. When did you start your first book? Were you a mother already at that point?
I had written really my whole life. I think I completed my first draft my first draft of my first book when my second was born.
Okay.
So right around then. I'd been writing off and on. I'd done a little more poetry and short story in the early days, and then finally decided to tackle a novel. So Unbound, my debut, is actually the second full draft I ever wrote of a book, and then it just happened to be the one that hit. But I've, like I said, I've always been a writer, but really it was my mom actually has my books, so I wrote when I was a kid at home. So, but yeah, I think it was my second born is when I really started diving into writing novels.
Has your as your children have grown older, has your writing changed a little bit to reflect your children, kind of like the
I think
different
so.
series of
Absolutely.
sometimes of parenthood?
Yeah, I think it definitely has. I just finished a rough draft of another book where it deals with a parent dealing with the older child. So
Right.
because my oldest is finally moving to that like preteen stage.
yeah.
So I'm like, this is a whole another kettle of fish than the toddler years.
Yeah.
So I think it's changed in that sense.
What does it feel like to finish a book? Are you?
Oh my god, it's the
Yeah.
best feeling in a
Pop
way.
champagne?
Yeah.
What do you do?
What do you do?
I eat a lot of chocolate. But it just, I don't know, there's just a rush of typing the end.
Yeah.
I always joke to some of my writing partners that I never love a book as much as I do in that moment when I finish it.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, it's like, it's here, it's perfect. It's
Yes.
kind of that newborn sensation.
Yeah.
And then a few weeks later, I go back and I reopen the document to edit, and I'm like, oh, okay, I don't love you anymore.
I know,
I've changed
yeah.
my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a wonderful feeling. It's that high that we chase all the time, typing the end.
Is there one person like your husband that you let read throughout the way, or are you more of a like
Keep
when
it under
it's
wraps.
done, it's done?
My
Yeah.
husband will read off and on when I write. I'll talk through plot points with him. But really, my most trusted critique partner is my best friend.
Oh, really? Okay,
she's the
cool.
only one who gets to read like the rough, raw drafts.
Yeah.
Because she just is really good. She's a voracious reader like I am. I really trust her judgment.
Yeah.
So she's really good at walking that line of like praise and criticism without going too far in either direction, if that makes sense. Saying I like this, but this has got to go. So she's by far my most trusted reader.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Do you have any authors that you kind of like look to for inspiration?
Yeah. Oh, I have so many. We'll be here all day.
I know.
Talk
Yeah.
sure. I have my idols that I read. Rebecca Ross is one of my favorite fantasy authors writing today. I also love Catherine Arden is another one of my favorite fantasy authors. I have friends that I look up to and are in awe of. One of my best writing friends, Eliza Chan, just last week came out with her next book. It's phenomenal. She's amazing. She's brilliant. Anytime we chat, I just feel like
You're
I
like,
don't belong
"Oh,
here.
yeah, no, yeah."
So yeah, there's a lot.
Oh my
for
gosh,
sure.
amazing. Okay, we're going to play a little game with you. It's called
Okay.
Quick Hitters. Okay, so it's
Okay.
kind of like a this or that.
Okay.
Okay?
Let's go.
So, paperback or Kindle?
Oh, paperbacks.
I'm the same
Yeah,
way. I love-
paperback.
Yeah.
Tolkien or Lewis?
Tolkien.
Okay.
Great.
Morning writing or night writing?
Night writing for sure.
Really?
How-
Are you
how late
yeah,
at
I
night
was
are we
gonna
getting?
say.
Oh, 2 a.m.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
still going. Yeah, it's when I get in a zone. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Coffee, tea,
Coffee.
beer,
Coffee,
while you're
coffee.
writing,
Coffee.
wine.
Well, coffee in the morning, and then sometimes I drink while I'm writing, but sometimes I make
Yeah.
a little fuzzy.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
depending on the day, either bourbon or beer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, we got a bourbon girl here. I
Yeah,
love it.
I do love bourbon. Yes.
Okay, favorite book ever
Oh my
besides your
gosh,
own.
that's
Right.
I
such a
know
hard question.
it's a hard one.
I mean, I'm a classics professor. I have to go.
Yeah.
It's not really a book, but Hamlet. I
Yes,
love Hamlet.
okay. Yeah.
That's my jam.
Classic.
Shakespeare.
Yes.
Hard to read. I mean, and here's the thing: unless you're well versed in it, like I'm sure,
she's
like
like,
you
it's-
are, but
she's
like
like,
you
no,
know,
it's not.
I
it's
have a
not-
lot of thoughts, so I'm gonna let them slide. You're not gonna bring out the English professor.
Sure.
Yeah,
today.
exactly,
But
exactly.
Yeah, I do love Shakespeare. Shakespeare and Homer are probably my two favorites.
What's the hardest chapter you've ever written? Do you have one that
I
really sticks
do.
out?
In the book, these three, probably the most difficult one to get through is in the second book when the mother character is pleading for her daughter's life. That one was hard.
Yeah,
That one was rough.
I'm sure.
It hit a little too hard. for
Right.
Sure, but yeah.
Do you cry ever when you are writing these tough things?
I'm
or
not really a big crier.
You okay?
I'm
That's
not.
great, yeah.
I
Hey.
lean more towards rage.
Yeah.
Do you rage when you
I
write some of
do
these
rage.
things?
Yes.
My adrenaline will start pumping a little bit when
Good.
I'm writing a
Yeah,
really,
that's
really
awesome.
intense scene. But no, not cry. Just
Yeah.
like it just
It
gets
just
it gets
feels-
intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, totally get that.
A funky question: do you
Yeah.
love all of the characters that you write about?
Oh no, I hate some of them.
Okay, good. That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
I do hate some of them.
Okay.
I like to write kind of flawed, unlikable characters.
Sure.
And yeah, some of them I absolutely despise. So it's always,
yeah.
when a reader comes to me, I love so and so. I'm like, good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I almost killed him like 3 different times. But yeah.
Amazing.
Interesting. Okay, so if somebody's trying to get into writing,
Okay.
because it's tough, I'd
Yeah,
imagine, just to pick up the pen and
Crazy.
start writing.
It definitely is.
What advice do you have?
Read a lot. Read a lot
Read.
in the genre you like and genres you don't like, nonfiction, classics, poetry, read all of it. It's amazing how much just immersing yourself in other people's words and writing can help shape your vision for what you want to do as a writer. Even like I said, if it's not your preferred genre, if it's not whatever it may be, even if you hate it, like sometimes just reading that can make you be like, all right, well, that's not, even though it's objectively good, that's not what I want to do with my writing. So the first step I always tell aspiring writers is you have to read a lot.
Yep.
And then, just practice. Just know that your first draft's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Just embrace it. There's an old saying, you can't edit a blank page.
Sure.
So, just get it down and, finish it, get it written, and then you can go back and try to work through it.
Yeah.
Piggyback off of that, is there a genre, let's not say you don't like, but maybe a least favorite or something you don't pick up as often? Any genres you don't particularly go to?
I don't read a lot of nonfiction. It's a flaw. I should read more nonfiction. But a lot of times reading is kind of my escapism hobby, decompressing.
Yeah, I get it.
I like to read fiction.
Yeah.
I don't read a lot of horror because I do get scared easily later when I'm reading.
Same.
So, horror romance is coming in hot right now. It's about to be the next big thing. So I might miss out on some good reads because I'm a scaredy cat.
No, I'm the same way. Especially in book club when they're like, okay, we're reading. And I'm like, I can't read that.
Horror and gore sometimes.
Yes.
Absolutely. I can't do it.
I know.
If you could live in a fantasy world, any of them that you've
read, I know.
read,
Yeah, that's a good question, Carleen.
Where would you go?
50 Shades of Grey count as a fantasy world?
Sure.
I'm trying to think, which one would I go to? I would probably go, there's a trilogy called the Aurelian Cycle by Rosario Munda, and they're dragon writers, but it's like mixed with like ancient Rome vibes. I would probably go to that one because it's really cool.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. When we come back, we're going to hear from Christy, and she's going to brag to us. I know. It's exciting. Lots to brag about here. Okay, we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Brag About It. It's time. It's time to brag about it.
It's time to do it.
Christy is here, and it's time to brag.
Let's
go ahead.
go.
All right. Well, I think the obvious thing I have to brag about is I finally completed my trilogy. After years of dreaming about it, it is out in the world, all 3 books.
They look beautiful covers.
I think they're so pretty and beautiful, and I love them so much. I love how colorful they are. I love the silhouettes and different characters on the front. And I want to brag that I wrote 3 really hefty fantasy novels.
Wow.
And then, in a typical mom fashion too, I have to brag about my kids. I have 4 kids, and they're just the best thing ever. I love my books, and I love my life, but they're the light of my life, and they're wonderful
How did
people.
you land on the art for your books, of the cover art?
So the first one was traditionally published. They had a artist come in and design it, and so I had a few different mock-ups made, and this is the one we went with. And then when I went out with the owner, I wanted them to went out on my own. I kind of wanted them to match, have a similar vibe. So I interviewed a few different cover artists, and when I hired this one, she sent me some different mock-ups that kind of mirrored the style of the first one, and I think she did a phenomenal job. She did a great job.
Yeah. So. Just hearing writing a trilogy is wild
exhausting
to me.
It was exhausting.
Yeah.
I'm tired for you.
But that is so cool.
Yeah.
And something that, I don't even know.
As a mom of 4 too, by the way.
1% of people can say that.
Right.
I think it's like 0.5% or something. Right. Like that is very, very cool. So, okay, what is next for you?
I have no idea. I have a bunch of drafts finished. I just kind of have to decide. This was exhausting. I won't lie.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, and life is busy.
Yeah.
And the main thing that I talk about with my friend and my husband is I don't want to lose the joy of it.
Sure.
So
right.
Once it feels
like
it's stressing
work.
me out.
Yeah.
And so right now I'm just kind of sitting back and enjoying the high of getting this out there, and just enjoying writing too.
Exactly.
And then, I'll figure out what comes next after that.
Have any of your kids got the writing bug?
Oh yes.
Good.
They keep saying that they're going to write like mom. My second born really loves graphic novels, so she's big
so
into writing her
cool.
own graphic novels right now. And I have to apologize to her because I can't draw. She
Yeah,
inherited
yeah.
my non-artistic skill on that front. But
How are these drafts looking for with the graphic novels and everything. Promising.
They look phenomenal.
Yes.
They look great.
Oh, gosh. That's awesome. Okay. Where can people find you? Where can they buy your book? Tell us everything.
Plug away.
I'm most active on Instagram.
Okay.
My handle is at Christie Healy Writes. So pretty simple, pretty easy to find me there. My books are available on most major retailers. The first one is available on audiobook as well, but they're all three available on paperback and ebook. Amazon is probably the easiest place, but they're on Barnes & Nobles, Books A Million, all of that.
Yeah.
What's the audiobook process like? Is that you reading
So my
it?
publisher did the first one.
Okay.
I do not read it, Lord no. They sent me a lot of samples of different narrators. So it's actually dual narration.
So it's like an audition.
Yeah, pretty
Ish.
much.
Yeah.
And I sent back, these two are my favorite, and they did a really great job with the audiobook. It
Great.
sounds amazing.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh, Christy, so proud of you ourselves.
Thank you.
Congratulations on
Thank
all
you so
your
much
success.
for having me. This was really great.
Yes, thank you so
course.
much for being here.
Thank you all for watching Brag About It. We'll see y'all next week.